Hello again and welcome to our channel. Thank you for joining us. Today we're thinking about growing potatoes in containers. About 40 years ago I started growing some of my crop of potatoes each year in containers. I started growing them in containers because I wanted to extend the growing season so that I could bring some of them inside during the autumn. I also wanted somewhere where they were going to grow better. I was having problems with slug damage and things such as that, and I thought that I could control some of these issues by growing the potatoes in containers. In the 40 years since, every year I've grown a proportion of my potato crop in containers. And I just want to explain to you how I do it. When I first started over 40 years ago, I started recycling some plastic and metal barrels that I'd got from the catering industry and the building industry. I cut them down, modified them and used those. As time went by, I also started using a lot of plastic bags. I cut some holes in the bottom and use the plastic bags to plant my potatoes. You can still use this way today, many years later. I also went on at one stage to using a lot of very large flower pots, such as this, and they were quite good as well. But now I'm going to show you the three ways that we actually use these days. Today, when we are growing our potatoes, we grow them using these three containers here. This is a proper potato bag you can grow potatoes in. These are very good. They're strong, they've got some holes in the bottom for drainage, some handles for carrying. We use some of these each year, and indeed my wife is going to be growing her sweet potatoes in these sort of bags this year. And so we can certainly recommend those as being good. Another thing that we use are these sort of containers like this. These are excellent. They're fairly cheap, they're very sturdy and reliable, and we use quite a lot of these. The one that is possibly the most ideal one is this sort of container here. This one is very good because it's got a part that you can actually lift out. You can lift that out and you can actually harvest your potatoes from the sides without tipping the whole of the container out. So those are very good. The problem with them is that they are a little bit on the pricey side. Alright, so we're going to show how we plant in these sort of containers. I've started off by filling the pot about a third full with compost. The growing medium that you use is up to you. There's obviously well-rotted garden compost is excellent. You may decide to buy some multi-purpose compost, some sort of growing medium. It's up to you. I've mixed some slow-release fertiliser into my growing medium, and now I'm going to plant some potatoes. When we have a pot such as this, for first earlies, I normally put either 3 potatoes at one level into the pot, or I put 4 potatoes at 2 different levels. Today we're going to try the 2 different levels method. And so I'm going to put 2 of our seed potatoes, and these are Rocket, this particular variety. I'm going to start off by putting 2 of the potatoes in opposite one another at that sort of level. Okay, I've now got to put some compost on top. Okay, so I've now put another third of the bucket full of compost, so it's now 2/3 full. The other 2 seed potatoes I'm now going to plant opposite each other the other way. Remember, the first 2 were there at a lower level, so these 2 now are going to be over here at a higher level, about 2/3 of the pot. And again now we're going to fill up with compost. For the moment then that should be quite sufficient. Needs to be very well watered, and it then needs to be put into a sheltered position where it can be protected from the frost if we're going to get some cold nights. What we've done, we've actually set up a sort of growing area down here for our potatoes. So you can see that down here we've got an awful lot of our containers, and we've set it up in such a way that we can easily protect from the frost if necessary. They will need protection for quite a long time. Anyway, that gives you some idea of how we've been growing our potatoes in containers. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you.